I like to think of someone's identity as a thumbprint. Everyone's thumbprint is different and has different curves or spirals that can be used to identify them. According to Webster's dictionary, identity is also defined as sameness of a central or generic character in different instances. But in Nazi Germany during the World War II era, it was much more than that. He envisioned an empire with a strictly Aryan race. So the ideal non-Jewish German had blonde hair, blue eyes, was a Christian, and was definitely not Jewish or a communist. So the ideas of uniqueness and diversity that one would associate with identity were gone. Without question, you had to support Hitler. What happened to the 10% of Germans who felt differently? In The Book Thief, we are able to see into the lives of non-Jewish Germans. As part of their identity, they were expected to attend book burnings and shout Hail Hitlers, and without a doubt be in support of Hitler and the German war effort. But characters in The Book Thief also represent the small portion of non-Jewish Germans who felt differently, who were unsure of whether or not Jews were truly the bad guys in the world.
Book burnings. As part of Hitler's efforts to control his German population, Hitler held large book burnings to destroy any books written by Jewish authors or containing anything of the Jewish nature. As a German, you are expected to attend these events enforcing anti-Semitism. Large amounts of people attended these events, and it became a large part of German identity. However, characters like Liesel and Hans Huberman began to doubt whether or not they agreed with Hitler. Liesel herself even stole one of the books that the Nazis were about to burn, a highly illegal action. Rudy and Liesel feed bread to the Jews. Liesel saw her foster father, Hans, feeding marching Jews bread. One of her friends, Rudy, encouraged her to also. Even though Hans was beaten after feeding the Jews, Liesel wanted to help them because she felt conflicted and they reminded her of Max. Usually when a non-Jewish German saw a Jew, they would look the other way and not even tend to help. These acts of destroying Jewish stores, throwing derogatory terms at the Jews, and allowed Jews to suffer in concentration camps became part of the regular identity of a German. But the way Liesel was raised was to help the weak and vulnerable, no matter how different they were.
Liesel says she hates Hitler. At the book burning, Liesel proclaims out loud that she hates Hitler, causing Hans to slap her. She says she hates Hitler out loud because it is revealed to her that Hitler was responsible for the harm done to her communist parents. Liesel had to keep quiet about her identity as a supporter of the Jewish community and her opposition against Hitler. Had someone heard her say this, she could have gotten severely reprimanded by German authorities. Over 90% of Germans supported Hitler, and it was expected that all of Germany should feel this way as well. Liesel and Hitler Youth Group. Despite all the conflicts that a non-Jewish German may feel towards Hitler, it was mandatory that all children participated in a Hitler Youth Group. This gathering of children in support of Hitler became part of the German identity. Together, they participated in the Junior Olympics and studied the Mein Kampf, Hitler's manifesto.
The following quote from The Book Thief shows how little Germans resisted Hitler. If you belonged to the small minority that did, it was a struggle. You can see this in characters like Hans and Liesel, who were at a constant battle between their expected German identity and their consciences. In 1933, 90% of Germans showed unflinching support for Adolf Hitler. That leaves 10% who didn't. Hans Huberman belonged to the 10%. There was a reason for that. Because the Steiners did not allow Rudy to attend Hitler's School for Youth, the Steiner family was punished and forced to send their father, Alex Steiner, to the war effort in Vienna. No one was to ever go against Hitler. As part of the non-Jewish German population, they were expected to support Hitler and be willing to give up their kids in order to benefit Germany. When they come and ask you for one of your children, Barbara Steiner explained, to no one in particular, you're supposed to say yes.
10%. Liesel Memminger, an upstander to society. She didn't believe in Hitler and didn't support his reign, so no one would suspect that she was a non-Jewish German. 10%. Only 10% were brave enough, when all were expected to idolize Hitler and shout his name.
Hail Hitler. 2 words engraved in each non-Jewish German identity. But not Liesel, not the brave 10%. Conflicted were the 10%, not knowing whether or not their consciences were evil. Afraid to stand up for what is right or what is human.
Books were burning as the 10% were burning with guilt. Non-Jewish Germans threw in innocent books and stories into the fire as innocent lives were ended. brainwashed by Hitler and his hate-driven Nazi regime. Germans painting on the Jews' broken doors, dirty Jewish filth shimmering from the broken glass.
But the whole time, the 10%, Liesel and Hans, struggling with their conscience, trying to keep themselves from repainting the door. Innocent men taken off to war to fight for a country whose ideals would leave a bruise on society forever, but the 10% also leaving a mark on society forever.